Hello everyone, and welcome to my first full series. This will be a movie-length video of my completed series of What If Goku Never Stopped Training, from Dragon Ball Z all the way up into the manga and the superhero movie. Now grab a snack while watching this, or have it play in the background while you're working. And let's dive into the completed story of What If Goku Never Stopped Training. This will begin after the defeat of Piccolo Jr., and Goku and Chi-Chi will get married as usual. Few months passed and Chi-Chi would be pregnant with Gohan, but Goku was bored and decided that he wanted to continue training hard for Piccolo's possible revenge. He heads to Kami's lookout to ask him to help him train, but Kami said that he taught him everything he knows, but he does let him know about the hyperbolic time chamber where he could train a whole year in just one day. Kami does warn Goku that he should bring in a partner so he doesn't go crazy being alone. Goku instantly thinks of Tien as being the best partner, but he also decides to bring in everyone to Kami's lookout. Goku goes out to recruit Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu, and bring them all to the lookout. Goku asks Kami to train them all while he and Tien will go into the time chamber. Kami is slightly annoyed, but he was impressed with all their skills that were shown in the 23rd World Tournament, and decided to take them all in. Goku and Tien would head into the time chamber and begin training together to get stronger and to be able to prepare for any future threat that Piccolo might make. While the others begin their tough training with Kami and Mr. Popo, during the rest of the 4 years before the start of Z, they all train hard with Goku, having to go every once in a while to be with Chi-Chi and Gohan, and sometimes Goku would bring Gohan with him. Kami does see the potential that Gohan has and tells Goku that he should train him a little because of the strength Gohan would have. During the training, Piccolo senses how many of them have gotten stronger than even him. He does train, but it's not as effective as the others. He does meet up with Goku, but their gap in power is much farther, and Goku decides to invite Piccolo to join them to train so that one day they could have another battle. Piccolo begrudgingly joins, and when he arrives, everyone questions Goku on why he brought Piccolo here, but Goku just laughs, saying that Piccolo is a strong fighter and wants to have a good fight with him in the future. Now in canon, the Z fighters grew crazy strong in 1 year for preparing for the Saiyan's arrival, so with having 4 years to train before Raditz arrived, their strength would have gone way up. Here are their power levels at the start of Z. Goku at 3,500, Piccolo at 2,500, Tien at 2,400, Krillin at 2,000, Yamcha at 1,800, and Chaozu at 1,700. Also, Gohan would be at 350 right now. Now with this, almost everyone can handle the likes of Raditz with ease. On the day Raditz lands on Earth, everyone is sparring at the lookout while Piccolo and Goku are currently in one of their sparring matches in the time chamber. They go in there to have their own personal matches, so they never really use up all their time in the time chamber. While the others are outside training, Kami senses the presence of Raditz and alerts the fighters. They decide to all go to the area where Raditz landed. They meet up with him and instantly notice the tail and question him about it. Raditz explains in a cocky tone who he is, his alien race, and how he is looking for someone named Kakarot. They all begin to think Goku may be an alien. Raditz states that he is here to destroy all life on this planet and begins to scout their power level. Currently, they are all suppressed as Tien has the highest power level of 800, and Raditz believes he can take them all on. Krillin says that they should all take him on, but Tien stops him, saying that he wants to handle Raditz alone and get in a stance to fight him. Raditz laughs, saying he has no chance of beating him as their clash begins. Tien would slowly get his power to rise until he can overpower Raditz. This fight is easy for Tien as he is stronger and even a more skilled fighter. He decides not to kill him, but to knock him out and take him to the lookout for further questioning. By the time they arrive, Goku and Piccolo get out the time chamber. Their bond has grown and became more like rivals rather than enemies, while the others are still wary of Piccolo. Tien explains everything about what they know about Raditz to Goku and Piccolo. Kami reads Raditz's mind and learns everything, and this scares him a bit. He destroys the scouter and reveals everything to everyone. Goku is shocked to learn that he is an alien and that it's his brother. Kami learns about the other Saiyans heading to Earth and about the evil Emperor Frieza. This scares Kami as he falls over. Learning about all this worries both Yamcha and Krillin, but excites Goku and Piccolo to fight stronger opponents, while Tien is kinda on both sides, being weary but also wanting to test out his strength. They have 1 year to prepare for the Saiyans that are coming soon. Kami tells them that they cannot teach him anything else, as they learned everything. Tien asks how would they get any stronger, and Kami tells him about King Kai and the other world, but only two can go. as everyone would think it would be Goku and Piccolo, but Kami says that it'll be Goku and Tien. Piccolo would ask why, as Kami explained that they must fuse back into one being and he shall grow strong enough to train up the others. Mr. Purple tells Kami he shouldn't fuse, as if they do, the Dragon Balls won't work anymore, and this shocks everyone, and they say they shouldn't do it. But Kami explains that they are an alien race and there is a planet full of Namekians of their people, so that after they can get another guardian once they deal with the Saiyan threat. Kami brings both Goku and Tien to begin their journey to meet King Kai. He heads back to fuse with Piccolo and become once again, and his power grows immensely, which multiplies his power 5-fold, which brings Piccolo to his new power level at 12.5k, and he begins to train Krillin, Yamcha, and Chiaotzu. Sadly, Gohan would not be joining in this fight. They also wonder what to do with Raditz. Goku asks to keep him alive and try to make him join their side while he's gone, so Piccolo would try to grant Goku's request. Their training begins during the 1 year they have, and it is hard on everyone. Goku and Tien get to King Kai rather quickly, and they train restlessly, getting both Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb. The Kaioken does strain their body, but they are able to handle it, with Tien being able to go up to a higher level as his body is more built for it and he can take more damage as he can go up to times 7 while Goku's at times 5. On Earth, Piccolo trains the others by giving them heavy weighted clothing and sparring endlessly, and even bringing them to the time chamber from time to time. With Raditz, he was stuck at the lookout as Piccolo wouldn't let him leave and tried to discuss with him to turn to the good side with his brother. Raditz shows fear from the other Saiyans, saying that they will kill us all, but Piccolo promises that he will deal with them and possibly help the Saiyans take out Frieza. This makes Raditz laugh, thinking that they are strong enough to take on Frieza. Many days would pass and Piccolo would keep trying to get to Raditz and telling him many stories about what Goku did as a kid and how he became an excellent warrior that never gives up no matter how difficult the task is. Slowly, Raditz begins to give in and does a little training with Piccolo. One night he tells Piccolo that if Goku can manage to defeat Vegeta, he will join them and convince the other Saiyans to join them so that they can all take out Frieza. Finally, the day of the Saiyans' arrival came. Here are the final power levels: Goku at 16k, Piccolo and Tien at 15k, Yamcha and Krillin at 12k, Chiaotzu at 10k, and Raditz at 5k. Everyone is ready to face them, and Goku manages to arrive on time as Tien was there to remind him. The Z Fighters head over to the Saiyans to begin their battle. When they arrive, everyone has their power suppressed. When Vegeta and Nappa use their scatter to sense their power, they believe was far below them. When they locked on Raditz, they called him a traitor, and spawned in some Cybermans to kill all the Z Fighters. But with one strong attack from Raditz, all the Cybermans died quickly, which shocked both Nappa and Vegeta, as they did not know Raditz was stronger than Cybermans. Nappa, still being cocky, believes he can handle Raditz on his own as their battle begins. With the training he has gone with a much stronger Piccolo, Raditz has grown exponentially in strength and skill. Their fight is intense as Raditz is only a bit stronger, but with him overpowering Nappa and having a better fighting style, he's able to take him down. Nappa begins to get enraged as he refuses to believe that he was taken down by a low-class Saiyan. Vegeta gets disappointed in Nappa as he shoots a ki blast at his back, trying to kill him. Goku sees this and powers up and deflects the blast, saving Nappa's life. Nappa grows angry at Vegeta and tries to attack him, but Goku stops him. He proposes a deal to Vegeta. They all want to aid them in defeating Frieza. Vegeta laughs at this proposal, saying none of them can be even close to being strong enough and he would just kill them all himself. Goku then says that he will make a bet. If he can beat Vegeta in a fight, then they will join forces to fight Frieza. Vegeta asks what will he get if he wins, and Goku says that he would not win. Vegeta gets angry and screams fine as he goes to attack Goku and their fight begins. This time their fight is more close as Goku's full power is closer to Vegeta's compared in canon. Their fight leaves shockwaves after each blow, and this impresses all the fighters. Tien says to wait till Goku shows his full power. Vegeta finds it hard to believe that Goku is keeping up with him. Goku decides to power up to Kaioken times 2 to overpower Vegeta to show him that he cannot win. Vegeta finds no option than to go to his great ape form. And in this timeline, the moon was never destroyed, so Vegeta managed to transform into his great ape form, and this increases his power tenfold. Everyone gets worried, even Goku, as if he even went to his Kaioken times 10, it wouldn't be enough to beat Vegeta. Goku goes to Kaioken times 3 and tries his best to dodge all of Vegeta's attack. Everyone doesn't know what to do until Nappa reminds them of the weakness of the tail. They all tell Goku to cut off his tail so that he can go back into his normal form. Goku forms a plan to take down Vegeta as he flies to the sky as Vegeta follows him. Then Goku will use a solar flare to blind Vegeta as he then shoots a destructo disc to cut off Vegeta's tail. He reverts to his normal state, and Goku in Kaioken times 3 is strong enough to beat Vegeta. but he powers down and offers him a hand, and says that they will train together to defeat Frieza. Vegeta begrudgingly takes the hand, but tells Goku there is only one way to be able to defeat Frieza. Goku would ask what would that be, and Vegeta says that one of them must become the legend that Frieza fears so much, the legendary Super Saiyan. After defeating Vegeta, Goku and all the other fighters decide to begin their training to defeat Frieza. The humans stayed training under Piccolo, and the Saiyans will all train together to try to achieve the Super Saiyan transformation. They are all in the time chamber, but they don't stay there long as there's not enough food for them all. Vegeta asks if there's anything they could use to increase the gravity to make the training more effective. Goku gets an idea and asks Bulma to create a machine to increase gravity training, and a capsule with a lot of food and water for 5 Saiyans. Once that was made, all of the Saiyans enter the time chamber again with the new gear, and they begin their harsh training. Goku and Vegeta train together while the other Saiyans train Gohan. They do push him around thinking he isn't too strong until they push him too far to where Gohan reveals his first rage boost that surpassed both Raditz and Nappa, and Vegeta takes interest in this hybrid Saiyan. They all begin training together, pushing each other to a new heights, and Gohan experiencing his major rage boost, and everyone begins to think that Gohan could possibly be the legendary Super Saiyan. So they all try to push Gohan to his limits, saying anything to get him angry. They manage to push him a little bit too far as for a second Gohan flashes yellow, but quickly passes out as he wasn't ready to wield that much power. Seeing this, everyone gets excited, but Vegeta is somewhat upset, as he thought it should be him being the Super Saiyan legend, and he starts to overdo it with the training, and begins to train away from the others. And he would go in the gravity room alone one night, and puts on a level too high for him to handle, but he pushes himself as he grows more enraged, until a big explosion erupts, and wakes up everyone. They all rush over to see the dust clear and see Vegeta in a golden aura as he became the Super Saiyan. Vegeta stands there in amazement as Vegeta gives a cocky smirk. At this point, they have been training for 6 months. They continue on, and not soon later, Goku manages to gain the form as well. And with Goku being a fighter who knows how to perfect techniques, and with more fighters, both him and Vegeta learn about the grades of Super Saiyan quickly. Meanwhile, with the Earthlings and Piccolo, they decide that they want to go to Namek to get a new Guardian and meet Piccolo's races. They arrive in Namek in a month and are greeted kindly, and Namek is peaceful as Frieza doesn't know about the Dragon Balls, so that there's no threat on Namek. The Z-Fighters would have met Elder Guru, but Nail wouldn't let them until they can beat him in a fight. And currently Nail stands at a power level of 42,000, which is a lot stronger than all the Z-Fighters, but Tien stands up saying that he can handle Nail. They get into a fighting stance, and when it starts, Tien powers up to the Kaioken times 3, which makes him stronger than Nail, and with one easy attack to the stomach, Nail has fallen, and Tien powers down and gives Nails a hand. Nail is impressed with these humans and allows them to meet Guru, and he reads their mind and sees the reason why they are here. He knows about their plan of defeating the Emperor Frieza and finds it to be a noble cause, as not only he allows them to bring a young Namekian Dende to Earth, but also unlocks their potential, and all of them would have an increase in power. Now, all of them would have a different boost, as in the anime, Gohan got an 8 times boost while Krillin had a 2 times boost. So we would give Krillin and Yamcha both the same multiplier, while Chaozu would have a 1.5 multiplier, and Tien personally has the best potential as a human besides Roshi, so I will be giving him a 3.5 times boost, which I think would be fair. And with Piccolo fused with Kami, it will give him a high boost, and we'll say 6 times multiplier would be a good bet. Now here are the new power levels. Piccolo at 96,000, Tien at 52,000, Krillin and Yamcha both at 24,000, and Chaozu at 15,000. They decide to stay on Namek for a bit to train with Nail, and Tien even teaches the Kaioken to everyone, and having this, it brings Piccolo to a new advantage as Namekians can regrow limbs, so this will be really helpful especially for Nail. Back on Earth, the Saiyans continue their harsh training, and it's been a few months, and Goku and Vegeta managed to perfect the Super Saiyan transformation, and with Gohan has achieved it himself. Their power levels are Goku and Vegeta at 2.5 mil in their base with 125 mil in Super Saiyan, Gohan at 1 mil and 50 mil in Super Saiyan, and both Raditz and Nappa are both at 900,000. A few months would pass along and the humans and Piccolo will return back to Earth. Goku's impressed with the power Piccolo has gotten. Piccolo asks Goku for a sparring match, and Goku would have said no, but he does warn Piccolo. Their match begins and it's obviously on Goku's side, and with Piccolo is on edge, until he smirks and begins to power up and activate Kaioken times 20, which surpasses Goku's base. Goku's impressed, but says that they have found a new form too, and he begins powering up into Super Saiyan. This power shocks Piccolo and the humans, as Goku also stacks Kaioken with the form, and shoots his power up and leaves Piccolo stunned on how strong the Saiyans could have grown so rapidly. Vegeta steps in saying that the Saiyans will begin to leave to take out Frieza and his army. Piccolo would have liked to go but makes himself and the humans stay on Earth in case there's any trouble that happens on Earth. So the Saiyans and Gohan would all leave Earth to go to the nearest Frieza planet. It would take them a few months using the same ship that they used to get to Namek, but once they arrive on a Frieza planet, they are surrounded by a bunch of Frieza's army. But they all, without effort, beat all the soldiers. They send a message to Frieza about what is going on, and this makes him glad that he gets the chance to finish off the Saiyans. It would take a bit for Frieza to arrive, so he sends the Ginyu Force since they are closer, and would arrive quicker. The Saiyans would decide to wait for Frieza's arrival, and then Vegeta sets his 5 power levels he knows all too well. He warns everyone, and he does say that they are all weak compared to them, so they shouldn't be a problem to deal with. Goku asks Vegeta if they can let Gohan fight them all on his own, which shocks Gohan as he is only 9 years old at this point, but Vegeta agrees as Gohan is far strong enough to beat them all, and Goku wanted to see what Gohan is capable of. The Ginyu Force would arrive and meets up with the Saiyans. Everyone has their power levels suppressed to make Ginyu think that they are all weaker than them. The Ginyu Force will decide who will fight first, while Vegeta sends Gohan to fight them on his own, and this makes all of them laugh, really underestimating Gohan, as they let Goldo fight him on his own. Their fight would begin, and once it started, Goldo lost track of Gohan instantly as Gohan powers up rapidly and gets behind Goldo, kicking him and sending him flying, as he shoots a Kamehameha wave and completely erases Goldo. This shocks all the members as they couldn't believe that this kid could be that strong. Gohan then transforms into a Super Saiyan state and destroys all the Scouters as he goes to continue attacking the Ginyu Force. He took Raccoon and Bird out in a single blow. Jace and Ginyu start to show fear as Ginyu prepares his body change technique, but Gohan dodges it as Vegeta did notify Goku and Gohan about the Ginyu's ability, and quickly punches both Jace and Ginyu as Gohan eliminated the entire Ginyu Force on his own, which Vegeta was pleased about. Not long after, Frieza and his army arrives as he sends all of them, including Dodoria and Zarbon. The fight immediately begins with them beating many soldiers, and Zarbon and Dodoria were easily handled without a problem. Frieza hears about how the Saiyans are all defeating them with ease, and he grows upset as he heads down there himself. As soon as he does, Raditz and Nappa and Gohan show a little bit of fear. But Goku and Vegeta are excited to fight Frieza. Vegeta wants to fight Frieza on his own, and Goku allows it even though he does want to fight. But since Vegeta wants to be doing this, he allows him to fight him on his own. The fight would start, and Vegeta would power enough to be slightly stronger than Frieza and break his Scouter. When Frieza charges at him, they are in an even playing field. This shocks Frieza as Vegeta was just tossing him around with ease. Seeing this, Frieza powers up to his second form, and Vegeta will power up too, continue to overpower Frieza, and Frieza begins to grow angry and powers up into his third form. Frieza then mocks them, saying that it is over. Vegeta just laughs, saying he has something that Frieza fears most of, and Frieza is confused until Vegeta begins powering up and a golden aura forms around him. Frieza begins to show fear as he is shaken up. Vegeta begins to attack Frieza at full force, slamming him into the ground. Vegeta takes his time to beat Frieza as he wanted to torture him for as long as possible. Frieza would then pull a Cell, saying Vegeta that he should let him power up to his full power, and Vegeta being as cocky as he is, he allows Frieza to do so, which Raditz and Nappa doesn't like, but they can't stop him, and not so long Frieza manages to get into his full power. Vegeta laughs even more as even at Frieza's full power, he is still weaker than Vegeta's full power, but Vegeta holds back to enjoy the fight. Frieza is in utter shock that Vegeta grew so strong and even surpassed him, and he begins to lose control, shooting multiple Ki blasts at Vegeta, but none of them land, and Vegeta begins to get bored of Frieza and prepares to attack to end Frieza. He sees this and begins to charge up a Death Ball, and reveals to everyone the truth about Planet Vegeta destruction and how he would use the same attack to finish off the rest of the Saiyans. Hearing the truth about the destruction, this makes Vegeta even angrier as he shoots a strong Final Flash attack at Frieza as he throws his Death Ball, but in a flash, the Final Flash attack engulfs Frieza's attack and completely erases Frieza without a trace. He powers down and glad that Frieza is now gone. He does let the others know about Frieza's father and how they would need to end him as well to completely end all of their rule in the galaxy, and to truly get the full revenge that Vegeta now wants. But Goku says that if they face King Cold, he would want to be the one to fight him off, which Vegeta thinks about as they continue their journey around the galaxy, finding any planets controlled by Frieza in order to find King Cold. Back on Earth, a few more months later, the Z-Fighters continue their training on the lookout until Piccolo feels a disturbance in the city, and then feels a powerful explosion that destroys an entire city. He notifies the others and tells them that they must go see what is going on, as he feels something terrible happening on Earth, and they are the only ones that could defend the planet as of right now. Weirdly, none of them can sense any high power levels, but feel uneasy about this. While the Saiyans were out in space going to face Frieza and his army, the humans plus Piccolo decide to stay on Earth in case if anything were to happen while they were gone. Months would have passed and they continued their training the entire time. They were getting bored as they never really had a chance to show their new power until Piccolo sensed a disturbance in the city. He notifies the others as they headed over there to a possible threat. They all wonder why none of them can sense any power levels as they grow a little worried. When they arrived, they all saw the destruction that happened and began to look around, splitting up. Most of them don't see anything until it comes to Yamcha as he is met with two normal looking people, which are Gero and Android 16. He warns them to get away as it isn't safe until Gero tells Android 16 to attack, and a battle begins. The others sense the spike in Yamcha's power and all head over to the direction. Yamcha gains in a battle but quickly is being overpowered by the android and decides to power up to Kaioken times 5, which closes the gap, but having 16 being the stronger fighter. The others arrive and quickly jump into action, with Krillin aiding Yamcha while the other three go to fight Gero. Now the androids are stronger than the Z fighters here, but are much weaker to their canon counterpart as they decide to attack much earlier in this timeline. Reason being as Dr. Gero has been spying on them the entire time. He does still want revenge on Goku, but when he learned that of the Saiyans leaving the planet and bringing most of the strong fighters with them, he decided to attack while they were gone, as he believed it would be easier with only having to deal with the weaker fighters, but it does cost him as he couldn't finish the projects of Android 19 and adding some extra tweaks to 17 and 18. Also not gathering as much information as he would have liked and got less info than he did in canon. The Z fighters are strong, no doubt, as they did train during the time of peace, but it wasn't always intense training, so they were a little unprepared. Piccolo and Tien would then fight against 16 while Chaozu tries to make him hold still, but it doesn't work. 16 is much stronger than Gero, and he pushes the fighters to use Kaioken, but even at times 5, it isn't enough. 16 knocks Piccolo away and Tien goes to Kaioken times 10, which is too much to handle, but he manages to overpower 16 for a bit and destroy a piece of his body. But then Tien's body gives out with the overuse of a high level of Kaioken as he falls to the floor in pain. 16 prepares to end Tien, but then is struck with a special beam cannon coming back by Piccolo, and this ends 16. Yamcha and Krillin still is fighting Gero. They decide to use a combination attack with Krillin throwing many destructive discs while Gero manages to dodge all of them until he sees Yamcha's Spirit Ball, which he does continue to dodge, but similar to what Yamcha did to Kami back in the 23rd World Tournament, he brings the attack underground and surprises Gero by summoning the attack right under him and explodes as this caught Gero off guard, and it seemed like he was taken care of. They all rally up and head back to the lookout for Dende to heal them. Piccolo says that this was too close for comfort for them and we're lucky that they had the advantage in numbers. He continues saying that they need to keep training as they aren't strong enough yet. Back on the battlefield, Robo's move as Gero emerges heavily damaged but still alive as he quickly leaves to his lair. Once he arrives, he activates Android 17 and 18 and commands them to eliminate the fighters, plus Goku. But as normal, they would kill him. Now these androids are weaker in canon, but still are a lot stronger than the fighters that are on Earth currently. Back in the lookout, they discuss what they went against and that they should collect the Dragon Balls, but then Dende tells them that they are back and stronger than before. Everyone's confused that they thought they destroyed the androids, but then they sense that it's two different ones who are much stronger. They all prepare to head back, but Piccolo stops them saying that they will almost go to the time chamber and train because if they go out there now, they would just die. Piccolo makes a point and they all head to the time chamber. Before leaving, Piccolo asks Dende to contact Bulma to gather Dragon Balls as they might need the Saiyans to return back from their space adventure. But before Piccolo manages to get into the time chamber, he senses a mysterious, powerful key. He notifies the others and tells them to begin training without him, as he will go and check out the mysterious key. Piccolo flies towards a deserted land and sees a purple-haired kid with a sword. Piccolo quickly asks him who he is and why is he so powerful. Now, we will always keep Trunks' timeline the same in these what-ifs, but Trunks would tell Piccolo everything about his timeline and what will happen in the future, which then shocks Trunks to hear that the androids arrived 3 years earlier than normal and where the Saiyans are currently. Trunks grows worried and asks Piccolo what are they gonna do. Piccolo tells Trunks that he and the other warriors are currently training, and Piccolo asks Trunks to join them, as it could help them from stopping the androids, which Trunks without hesitation agrees. They quickly head to the lookout and begin their training with the others. After a quick catch up with them, a few hours pass as Dende can only sense the horror and chaos that the androids are causing, while Bulma is still looking for the Dragon Balls. The Z fighters do head out of the time chamber as they are much stronger, thanks to Trunks being stronger, and they also taught Trunks the Kaioken so he can stack that with Super Saiyan. Piccolo grew the most as having a Super Saiyan as a training partner, and with the humans learning about the future, this gave them more motivation while they were training. They prepare by bringing some sensu beans and heading over to the destruction caused by the androids, and prepare to fight them on their own. They land nearby to see cities destroyed, and then 2 teenagers standing by. They first think it's 2 normal people, but with Trunks there, he quickly warns them that those are the androids he came to warn them about. They quickly get into a fighting pose, and begin to get into a brawl with Trunks and Piccolo fighting 17, and the humans fighting 18. Now even with the androids being stronger, these Z's fighters are stronger in their own right. With everyone having Kaioken, their teamwork is a lot better, with always training together and having the numbers against the androids. Trunks sees the androids make him go enraged, stacking Kaioken with Super Saiyan and begins to overpower 17 for a bit, but soon Trunks' body would begin to slow down as Trunks isn't used this amount of strain from his body. But Piccolo would jump in, going to Kaioken times 30, which makes him a lot more powerful than 17, but his body breaks rather quickly. Every time his arm would break, he would just rip it out and grow it back to continue fighting. He knows he cannot keep doing this as soon he would lose all his energy, so he forms a plan with Trunks to eliminate 17. Trunks will rush 17, fighting him while Piccolo charges up a Hellzone grenade and begins shooting ki blasts around the two. 17 thinks he is missing his shots until Trunks teleports away from 17 and 17 is blasted with the attack, which hurts him a lot. And when he was still recovering, Trunks slices 17 in half and finishes him off like how he did to Mecha Frieza and Kanon. With the humans, even with their joint forces, 18 shows that she is a strong opponent. So with their teamwork, they form up a plan. Chiaotzu would sneak up on her and use all his power to try to freeze her in place. And when he does, Tien would power up to Kaioken times 15 and spam his Neo Tri-Beam like he did with Semi-Perfect Cell. And to finish her off, both Yamcha and Krillin powering up to Kaioken times 10 both launch a full power Kamehameha at the crater, in which that powerful combination of attacks, it does manage to destroy Android 18. All 3 of the humans collapse to the ground as they all overdid it with the Kaioken. Piccolo, Trunks, and Chiaotzu would help them go back to the lookout, and Trunks is in disbelief that they actually beat the androids. Once they got to the lookout and recuperated, as they were surprised by the Saiyans since Bulma got the Dragon Balls and wished them to be brought back to Earth. They were all surprised as well, as Goku was kind of upset as Vegeta did not let him fight King Cold. They all wondered who Trunks was as he got them all love, but kept the part of being the son of Vegeta and Bulma. Goku thanks Trunks for the medicine and trying to warn them for a threat. This does leave a problem for Trunks as he wanted to restore peace in his time, as Dende offers him a plan and go with him to his timeline to help restore things and possibly get his Earth their own guardian, which brings a smile to his face as they would head back and quickly return once more to bring Dende back. They all thought he wasn't there for long, but Dende explained that he created Dragon Balls there to find a planet Namek and then to bring a new guardian to Earth, and they created Dragon Balls as Trunks wished back everyone who were killed by the androids and to be brought back to Earth. He was greeted by everyone. He saw his father and Gohan and was happy. During their time in the afterlife, they trained a lot and managed to get really strong, as all 3 of them would go into the time chamber to have a quick training session where Gohan and Vegeta taught Trunks Super Saiyan 2 and Trunks taught them the Kaioken. And once they got out of the time chamber, they were far strong enough to defeat the androids as they headed out and ended the android threat. After that, Trunks brought Dende back to his timeline. They are glad everything's alright and at peace. Everyone would enjoy the peace, but would still continue training as they would not know when the next threat will come. Vegeta and Nappa would stay at the Capsule Corp, and Vegeta and Bulma would still have Trunks, while Raditz stays with his brother and Gohan, and them continue training as well, while the others would primarily stay at the lookout continuing their training. Now instead of a 7-year time skip, it would be a 10-year time skip since all the events of the androids happened a lot earlier than normal. Everyone relaxes thinking all the threats have been dealt with, but way down below in a secret lab, one green bug still lives and continues to develop alone without being disturbed and without anyone knowing that the bug even exists. Where we left off last time, instead of a 7-year time skip, it would be a 10-year time skip. 10 years of peace did bring some boredom to the fighters, but the Saiyans did keep on training with each other during that time. Goku, Vegeta, and Raditz trained effectively with each other and all attained the Super Saiyan 3 transformation. During those 10 years, they were the only ones who trained hard and intensely, since they were always challenging each other. They sensed something greater after Super Saiyan 3. But it was more primal, and they were close, especially Raditz. He felt like he was closer to it mainly because he has his tail. Goku and Vegeta would actually grow their tail back and continue on training. The Half Saiyans and Nappa would also join from time to time. They all grew stronger, as well as even got the Super Saiyan 2 transformation. Goten and Trunks would actually be the same age and even grow to be great rivals. They even have a better motivation to want to defend Earth and really grow a liking to fighting. Gohan would be more on studying rather than training, so he does slowly start slacking and focus more on school. With Nappa, he would slow down the training as his age would slowly catch up to him, but he would keep trying to stay on par with everyone else. Piccolo did often come to train with the Saiyans as he wanted to keep up with them, but he was starting to struggle with that. He would even go to King Kai's place to work on his Kaioken and try to increase the levels he could go to. He would even meet fighters from the other world and continue to grow stronger. The humans dislike often their training except Tien. Once he heard about Piccolo going to the other world to fight other fighters, he would quickly go and join him. And he does end up learning about the fusion dance, which does interest him. Around the final year, one night, Goku would end up looking at the moon, which Raditz tried to stop him, but he would be too late. Goku began to grow in size, but then released a shining aura that blinded Raditz. He heard a roar, but once he was able to open his eyes and see again, he saw Goku, but he didn't look normal. It looked like he found a form that combined the look of the Great Ozaru and the Super Saiyan transformation, and Goku decided to call it Super Saiyan 4. They would decide to spar to test out this form, and once they began, Raditz quickly saw the huge power difference between them two. Even once Raditz goes Super Saiyan 3, he isn't anywhere near strong enough to fight against Goku. Raditz is starting to see how strong his younger brother has become, and couldn't help but feel proud, and grows motivated to achieve the form himself. One day, Goku decides to tell everyone to go to the World Tournament, which most people thought was a good idea, so as normal, they will all decide to go. One thing, Mr. Satan wouldn't be as famous as normal since the Cell games never happened, and Gohan wouldn't have his great Saiyaman phase and really wouldn't participate in the tournament. He wouldn't have any relationship with Videl, but more likely Erasa. This timeline, we will have Raditz take Gohan's place, and to be honest, the entire roster would just be Z fighters. So the Kais would be on the sidelines, plus Babidi's minions. Piccolo would point out about the mysterious Kais to the others. During the first matchup, it would be Krillin and Yamcha. They would power up to begin their match, and would have plenty enough energy to attract both Yamu and Spokovich. Taking Krillin's energy, Yamcha would try to attack, but cannot move to aid Krillin, as in the background, the Kai is forcefully not making Yamcha move. They would leave with the energy as the Z fighters prepare to go, but are stopped by the Kais, and they would quickly let everyone know about what is going on and ask them to all aid them, and with the stop of the threat of Buu. They all agree and quickly follow Yamu and Spokovich. Once they arrive, they would enter inside Babidi's place, face all his minions, which wouldn't be a problem, but in this turn of events, Babidi didn't need more energy. So Buu's egg would hatch, and then the Z fighters would have to face him. The Saiyans would try to decide who would fight first, but Goku went ahead to power up into his new Super Saiyan 4 state, which shocked everyone but Raditz. Vegeta was upset that he was not told about this, but like Goku, fought Buu. Now this fight is intense. With Goku's amazing strength, he causes major damage to Buu, but Buu keeps regenerating back to full health. Goku was happy and enjoying this fight, since he really never had a good fight in a long time. Supreme Kai kept asking Goku to end it quickly, but Goku kept the fight going. Buu wasn't as strong as Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but Buu was beginning to wear out Goku. Knowing this, Goku would begin charging up a Spirit Bomb. Buu would try to attack Goku, but the other fighters would begin to join in to aid Goku. They weren't strong enough to go against Buu one-on-one, but with their combined force, they were able to make Buu begin to lose control and grow angry. Angry enough to split into two parts of himself. Everyone is shocked and begin to see the two Buus fighting each other. So the skinnier one beat on the fatter one, and got to even absorb him rather quickly. Super Buu was then formed, and this scared even the Kais. The fighters continued their fight with Buu, but they feel the immense increase in power which shocked them all. Buu was easily managing to handle all the fighters, and even began turning some of the weaker fighters into candy and eating them. Tien would try to find Yamcha, but he couldn't sense them anywhere, as he grew worried since he planned to fuse with him. But then he saw the half Saiyans and grabbed both of them. He quickly taught them the fusion dance, telling them that they are their best chance in holding Buu off Buu. He was really strict with teaching them, and with the kids being a lot more focused, they would pull it off the first try and become Gotenks. Gotenks would still be playful when fighting Buu, but would be more focused on handling the threat. This Gotenks is stronger and is able to give Buu a good fight, transforming into Super Saiyan 3 the entire fight. Gotenks would have the upper hand against Buu, and this would begin to make Buu upset until he sees Tien and would secretly plan on absorbing him. And it will work as Buu grows more powerful and be on equal grounds with Gotenks. The fighters grow worrisome as now Gotenks is having trouble. Some of the fighters would try to lend a hand, but would quickly be pushed away by Buu. Gotenks would then power up to the max and begin to charge up a ghost kamikaze attack. With all their effort, they send out an attack towards Buu. They would also shoot a galactic donut which trapped Buu, and then the ghosts would go surround them and explode. End up defusing, exerting all their energy, but they think they defeated the Buu. But once the smoke clears, they see him regenerating, and they grow a little fearful, not knowing what to do as they use up all their energy. But they stand back up in a fighting stance, ready to face off Buu on their own, even without fusion. With the fighters telling them to stand down, luckily enough, Goku would have the attack ready as he transferred all the energy into his hand, and for a second, feels a power so overwhelming he cannot explain it. He feels so powerful he could sense an extreme ki force from so far away as a little flare of red fiery aura surrounds him. But as quickly as it came, it disappeared, and then he would shoot one powerful ki blast with all his force and energy to Buu, which manages to hit Buu and completely erase him without leaving a trace. Babidi stood there shocked and was quickly killed by Supreme Kai. Once the threat was over, Supreme Kai thanked everyone for their help, and then pulled Goku aside, offering to train him, as if it was only for a moment he sensed God Ki in him. Goku was shocked to figure out that it was God Ki's sense and accept the offer, and Supreme Kai announced that he would take Goku to train him as the others wanted to go, but Supreme Kai said he would let them come after he has taught Goku, and then Goku left with the Kai, which shocks everyone and even made Vegeta and Raditz mad. Once they arrived, Supreme Kai trained Goku and started making him transform into a Super Saiyan 4 state and to absorb a spirit bomb to try to recreate the incident. Many times it wouldn't work, but Goku would not give up. He explains the feeling he got and the powerful ki he sensed that was so far away. This shocked Supreme Kai as he explains that he probably sensed the god of destruction. Goku's training grew a lot more intense as he pushed himself to the limit. Goku would meditate trying to get that same feeling he had when he felt the power, and note, during the entire time of his training, he stayed in the Super Saiyan 4 state. One day, once he was training, it worked for a few short seconds. He once again tapped into the God Ki. The Kais witnessed this and shocked as seeing a mortal tapping into the realm of the gods. Back on Earth, Goku has been gone for a bit. Everyone has been revived who has died during the battle with Buu. And Vegeta is training with Raditz as Vegeta somewhat became sour both for not having been told about Super Saiyan 4 and Goku getting special training from the gods. During the time Goku was away, Vegeta and Raditz had been training to gain the form and started harsher training on the half Saiyans, including Gohan. Gohan was really far behind as he couldn't even transform into a Super Saiyan state. They also grew back their tails as to prepare them to also gain the same form. Gohan was somewhat unsure about the training as it wasn't something he wanted to do, but he knew that he had to in case of any dangerous threats, especially how he didn't really do much against the threat with Buu. He saw that he did need to begin his training once again. Also, while in school, he started a relationship with Erasa, and this motivates him even more to actually take training more seriously, and once he did, he quickly grew up in power, getting close to the like of Vegeta. Vegeta seeing this gets prideful and starts to respect Gohan, but also seeing that he has great potential and that could become the strongest Saiyan, and really begins going all out with Raditz and Gohan. Gohan being a lot more motivated decided one night to try to achieve the same form his father did. He would create his own moon and with his ki, and then begin transforming into the Great Ozaru, but then starts to take control as a shiny ball of aura covers Gohan, and once the light dissipates, it is revealed that Gohan achieved the form. When Vegeta saw Gohan in the form, he grew really angry, but secretly was prideful and somewhat proud, but he just couldn't show that. Not long after, Raditz would achieve the form, but Vegeta just couldn't manage to do it no matter what. No matter how he tried, he never was able to achieve Super Saiyan 4, which did hurt his ego a little bit. But still, Vegeta grew very cocky and told the others that he would keep training, and once Goku returns, he will show him that even with the training of gods in his form, he will still surpass him. It has been quite some time since the Majin Buu event. Goku has gotten quite strong ever since then. During his time training, he ended up learning instant transmission and ended up using the Z sword and used it to train. Supreme Kai talked about how the sword is practically unbreakable. But one day, Goku was somewhat curious how strong the sword is, but after his first punch, the sword was broken, which made the Kais completely speechless. But out of the sword came out Elder Kai, and he ended up thanking Goku for freeing him from his prison, and Supreme Kai was too stunned to speak. Elder Kai revealed that it was Beerus who ended up trapping him in the sword, and this caught Goku's attention, saying he has been training to fight Beerus, and Elder Kai without hesitation wanted to help Goku to get some payback. He ended up doing the dance ritual to awaken his hidden potential and even give Goku a new form. It would take some days as Goku had great potential, but once it was done, he felt the power. Goku powered down for the first time in a while, and activated the Mystic form, and felt the immense power of all his Super Saiyan forms in his base, and he released something else. He sensed the Kai's energy level now, which shocks the Supreme Kai, as now Goku has God Ki within him. With the aid of unlocking his potential, it actually gave him that boost to get into God Ki. This, in a way, bums Goku out, as he wanted to achieve it on his own, but oh well. On a faraway planet, Whis stands there watching every bit of Goku's training and was impressed as he was getting God Ki, but then it hits the time where Beerus wakes up and begins to hunt on the Super Saiyan God. Whis does tell Beerus of a mortal who tapped into God Ki, and this shocks Beerus and demanding him to bring him to the mortal, as they began to head over to Supreme Kai's world, which he sensed and grew fearful, telling Goku that the God of Destruction is coming, and this excites Goku as he wants to face the God of Destruction. Not long after, Beerus would arrive to see Goku, and without a minute to waste, their brawl will start quickly. Their fight is unbelievable as it shakes the planet and even sends the Kais flying. In his mystic form, Goku is putting up an amazing fight against Beerus. Now note, this fight isn't comparable to the canon fight as Goku didn't truly absorb God Ki just yet, which is why he didn't gain the transformation. The bit that he did tap into did boost his strength greatly, but not to the extent that it did in canon. Beerus would begin to power up slightly more, and just increasing his power level, he was able to extremely overpower Goku, and knocked him out in a few blows. Supreme and Elder Kai are left stunned that their training wasn't anywhere near enough to please Lord Beerus. He began to grow angry as he wasn't satisfied by this fight, and asks Whis if there's any more Saiyans out, as he sees Earth, and Beerus demands to be sent to Earth right away, and he tells Goku that if there's no Super Saiyan God, he will destroy the planet. as they head off. Goku tries to get up to stop Beerus, but he is way too much damaged as Sakai goes to aid him. On Earth, it is Bulma's birthday and it goes pretty much normal. Vegeta and Raditz were training. During the time, Vegeta still hadn't gotten to achieve the Super Saiyan 4 form and decided to give up on that form and was actually learning how to perfect Super Saiyan 3 with all the intense training he has been doing with Raditz. Bulma does fuss at them and force them to stop training to go to her party. Once they do arrive, they do see both Whis and Beerus, which shocks them both and even makes them fearful. Before they could talk about the Super Saiyan God, Bulma came by and invited both of them to her party. Both slowly calm down but tries their best not to piss off Beerus. But without Buu in this party, they actually enjoy themselves with the party and especially the food. But soon, Beerus would begin to get impatient, saying that he wants to meet the Super Saiyan God, which confuses all of the Saiyans as none of them know what that is, which puts a frown on Beerus' face. He then powers up saying that he will just destroy the planet and be on his way. The fighters then get into a fighting stance, as they all rush at Beerus, but easily he takes them all down one by one without any trouble. Vegeta, Raditz, and Gohan would power up into their highest transformation and try to fight Beerus. But at the same time, Beerus isn't using that much power to fight back. Goten and Trunks would fuse into Gotenks and join the battle. But easily both Gotenks and Vegeta were knocked away as Gohan and Raditz continued fighting. Beerus does say he is impressed with their form and their power that they have, but it's nothing to him as he quickly knocks them both out into their base form. Beerus begins to get angry as he sees no Super Saiyan God, but Raditz quickly asks Beerus to give them 5 minutes and they could possibly get him the present he is looking for. Everyone questioned Raditz as he asked Bulma for the Dragon Balls, and they can question Shenron about the Super Saiyan God, and quickly she would go get the Dragon Balls. They would summon Shenron and ask him about the Super Saiyan God, which Shenron would explain the origin and the ritual and how they become the Super Saiyan God. They do have enough Saiyans to do the ritual, but the question is who would get it. People would think it's Gohan, but he takes the offer down as he wants to focus more on the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, while Raditz would not be too confident to be able to fight Beerus, but Vegeta yells out that he would be the one to get the form, as he doesn't have no Super Saiyan 4, and stating that he is the prince of all Saiyans, and that this form will fit his mantle. The ritual will be done towards Vegeta as he becomes the Super Saiyan God, and before they fight, Goku arrives as Vegeta yells to get out the way since he got the Super Saiyan God form, and only he can fight Beerus. But Goku laughs, asking Beerus to join their fight, which Beerus doesn't deny but questions how is he any stronger than last time they have met. Goku explains that he has now fully got the feeling of God Ki. He has achieved a new level of power with his Super Saiyan 4 transformation. Goku started powering up into Super Saiyan 4, but then continued as the fiery aura of Super Saiyan God forms around him until it dissipates and his hair becomes a mix of red and black as Goku transforms into the Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker. And this power amazes everyone as he got ahead of Vegeta once again. Together, they go against Beerus, and this battle is a lot more intense than it was in normal. Well, not only that it's a 2-on-1, but Vegeta and Goku are much stronger than Goku normally was in canon fighting Beerus. Their fight is felt across their planet, with Goku and Vegeta using combination attacks against Beerus, and this fight makes Beerus happy and decides to power up more, going all out, and making the Saiyan duo do the same. Vegeta ends up powering down into base, which shocks Goku and Beerus, but he explains that Vegeta still has the God Ki, it is now just a part of him. Knowing this, Vegeta powers up to Super Saiyan 3 and their fight still continues. Vegeta feels the power as he's still closely on par with Goku's new transformation. Their fight ends up going into space. Slowly, the Saiyans are losing the energy they have, and Beerus begins to easily beat on them. He powers up a Death Ball and sends it towards the Saiyans, as they both try their best to hold off the attack, but they both just power down into their base as they struggle more and more until they are engulfed in the attack. But just like in the movie, they tank the attack and power up as Goku goes into his mystic form and Vegeta ends up unlocking Super Saiyan Blue. They both together rush at Beerus and continue their fight as everyone on the planet can see every blow as they are shocked about the power of the gods. Whis explains that Goku is on a further level than anyone else as he is watching him the entire time he was training with Supreme Kai, and he has the potential to achieve something great. The fight continues with the two Saiyans not giving in, but Beerus does see that their strength is getting lower and lower and decides to end it, telling them that they are the strongest people he has ever faced and offers to train them and some of the others. They remain shocked being offered this but do accept the offer as they power down, being completely depleted of all their energy. Beerus goes back on Earth and everyone grows worried as they couldn't defeat him, but he tells them not to worry as he will spare them for now, but does tell the fighters that he offers up to train the Saiyans, whoever wants to join. Raditz would join since he is a free man and can go anywhere he wants. Gohan would like to join but is too busy with his own job, but maybe might join once in a while. Goten and Trunks would like to join, but their mothers wouldn't really allow them since they're still young and they'll probably have a chance in the future. Beerus and Whis would end up taking the three Saiyans and leave to his planet. Once they arrive and recuperated, he asks all three of them to spar to see who is the strongest. Really, Beerus just wants to make a rivalry out of all three of them to push each other to grow stronger. When their sparring match begins, both Vegeta and Raditz power up to their max, but Goku only went to his mystic form, which confuses the others, but Goku explains that his form is able to give him the strength of his transformations into his base form, so he never needs to really transform. Their fight begins with all the three Saiyans, each with their own path to power. Their fight is so powerful, causing major shockwaves all around the planet. Even with the major gap in power between Goku and Vegeta, Raditz still manages to hold his own against them and slowly increases his power as he begins to gain the ability of God Ki. The strength that is shown between the three puts a smile on Beerus' face as he does get excited with these Saiyans. Back on Earth, the Z Fighters realized how underpowered they were against Beerus. With this, it inspired them to keep training. With Piccolo, he got in contact with Supreme Kai and asked if he could train under the Kai. The humans hearing this also asked if they could join him, as they too want to get stronger, with all them going to the Kais to continue their training. With Gohan, even with the Super Saiyan 4, he still felt like he has a lot more room to improve. Erisa does tell him that she is pregnant with Pan, and he decides he wants to train more. He does offer to train Goten and Trunks so they don't feel left out, and this makes them happy. They do hope one day they'll be able to train with the gods and get God Ki, which sounds cool to them. Months would pass and it would remain peaceful. It would stay that way for a good while, as Frieza and Cole would never get the chance to be resurrected, since during the time the Saiyans went to space to stop Frieza, they completely destroyed the Frieza Force, leaving little to no soldiers left in order for them to get the Dragon Balls and try to revive their fallen emperor. The three Saiyans have been training on Beerus' planet, all having God Ki but still use their own unique power-ups, with Goku being the strongest, Vegeta not too far behind, and Raditz being a bit behind. During their time in training, the half Saiyans did join and all learned God Ki, but Gohan was the only one to obtain the God form. But he is aiming for the limit breaker form that his father showed when first facing Beerus. The kids though could not achieve the overwhelming transformation of the Super Saiyan God just yet, but definitely much stronger than their canon counterpart. With Piccolo, he grew too, not much training with Beerus, but with training with the Supreme Kai, with the other Earthlings, and they too obtained the mystic form that Goku obtained, but it would make them strong, but not as strong as base Goku, since he has all these Super Saiyan power-ups, but they thought it was good to unlock their full potential, and it does power them up with how much Kaioken they could handle without having to strain their body. Without Frieza ever being revived, there wouldn't be any problem until one day, another purple cat arrives on Beerus' planet, which is Champa, and his own angel, Vados. The brotherly rivalry began with the food competition, but it would remain without a victor, and then Goku gives the idea of a tournament between the fighters of each universe. Champa does agree with a 5-on-5 matchup. Easily the first three fighters of Universe 7 would be Goku, Vegeta, and Raditz. They didn't think of Gohan, and they go ask him to, but currently he is busy with taking care of his newborn and busy with work. He declines the offer, even though he would like to join and test his new power, but he did suggest Goten and Trunks, since it would be a good experience with them fighting, and they have grown pretty strong. Also, Beerus wouldn't need to recruit Monaka to motivate Goku to keep growing stronger, as Vegeta and Raditz wouldn't stop training. They do go and recruit the two young half Saiyans, and that's the full team. They would head over to the tournament for the test to take, everyone passing, even Goku barely passing. Matchup would be the same order, but for Universe 7 would be Goku, Goten, Trunks, Vegeta, and then Raditz. First match would be Goku versus Botamo, which would go on the same as any attack he throws at Botamo would just be deflected until Goku uses his head and ends up throwing Botamo out of the ring, and with ease and winning the match. Goku would then face Frost, and this excites him as in this timeline he didn't get a chance to fight Frieza, so fighting someone like him gets him excited. He tells Frost to go to his final form, and then their match would begin. Goku, being much stronger than his canon self, is a lot faster and stronger against Frost, so it makes it difficult for Frost to use his poison needle against Goku, and not being able to cheat against Goku, he is quickly eliminated, as he cannot put up a match for Goku, being overpowered. Next would be Goku versus Magneto, which is a little difficult for Goku at first since he couldn't do any damage to his opponents once again, until Goku said something that got Magneto, calling him rather boring opponent, and with this it shows Magneto's weakness, being mean insults towards him. Goku feels bad about doing this, but he would go and give insults towards Magneto until he runs out of the arena, which then makes him disqualified. The next matchup would be Goku versus Kaba. This does kind of get Vegeta and Raditz mad that he is taking all of the fun, but Goku enjoys the fights too much. With learning that Kaba is a Saiyan as well, he asks him to transform into a Super Saiyan. Kaba cannot do so, which shocks Goku, but then he takes the time to try to quickly teach Kaba to obtain a transformation. Goku would power down from his mystic form and transform into a Super Saiyan form, which the power shocks Kaba, being stunned as it is possible for him to get great power like that. Goku spends the feeling he could feel to obtain the form, with either intense emotions or having being pushed to the limits. Goku begins attacking Kaba, obviously holding back heavily, but this still gives Kaba to try his hardest. Unlike with Vegeta threatening to destroy Kaba's planet, which is unlocked his Super Saiyan form, Goku was trying to make Kaba achieve the form by pushing him until Kaba would transform into a Super Saiyan, which he does as Kaba unleashes a flurry of attacks, which does take Goku a bit off guard since he is holding back, but he is glad that he had taught Kaba the transformation. He would let Kaba keep attacking until he unleashes a powerful attack, and Goku had transformed into a Super Saiyan 2 to deflect the attack. Kaba shows how tired he is from all the attacks he threw at Goku, which he didn't take any damage, which does somewhat discourage him, but Goku says that he should be proud of achieving this transformation and power. He should begin training more to become more powerful as he strikes Kaba at the back of the neck knocking him out. Champa is angry that no one has taken out one of Beerus' fighters, but quiets down a bit when Hit steps in. Goku can sense the power of this opponent and knows he should not be underestimated. The pressure can be even felt by the other fighters from Universe 7. Goku would transform back into his mystic form, but he still feels uneasy about this fight. When the match started, Hit took a simple fighting stance, which took Goku a bit off guard, but decided to attack. But when he dashed over to Hit, he was attacked by a powerful strike that sends him flying down, almost taking him out of the arena, which surprises everyone from Universe 7. Goku gets up slowly as the attack did damage him. He was confused on what happened as he did not even see Hit move. This time Goku would try to attack using a ki blast, but the same thing happened as Hit appeared to not even move, but the blast was destroyed, until Goku realized what was going on. He figured out that Hit could possibly stop time or control it. He knew it could be dangerous to attack him head on. He needed to be able to get to Hit to be able to knock him out or push him off the ring. Goku decides to power up more as he shakes the planet and even surprises Champa with his overwhelming strength. He flies towards Hit and tries to attack him, but Hit will use his time skip once again, but this time when he punched Goku, Goku managed to tank the attack, which surprised Hit as no one he knows managed to do something like that. Goku smiled, learning what he must do as he would power up to his fullest and try to attack, which Hit would use the time skip once again when he was moving forward. But when he was moving forward towards Goku, he saw that Goku wasn't frozen, but looking at him during his time skip, which made him panic a little bit, and instead of hitting him, Hit made some distance between the two. Goku just needed a little more power, so he knew what he needed to do. He powered down from his mystic form and began transforming into his Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker. When he was doing this, Hit saw his chance and started dashing towards Goku, trying to take him out before he could power up. As once he got close, he activated his time skip and attacked Goku, but once his fist landed on Goku's chest, nothing happened, as a glaring red aura forms around Goku, and Goku breaks the time skip barrier, being in the same plane with Hit. Hit stood there not believing what he was seeing. Goku was the first person to ever break the time skip, and even doing it with him. He asked him how he got this strong when he's been training for over 1,000 years. Goku laughs, explaining he's been training ever since he was young, but learning on the Saiyans race and their strong power did help him, and when he began training with the gods, made him much stronger. Hit takes note of it, but does ask Goku if they could have a match as he wants to see how strong Goku is, and Goku does accept the request. The clash happens entirely in the time skip dimension, and the fight is amazing as the blow they exchange does change the plane they are in. Hit does show how strong he really is, which makes Goku excited and glad that he made this tournament happen, but Goku definitely is much stronger with his Limit Breaker form, as he does attack Hit with massive blows that ultimately knocked him out and stopped the time skip. To everyone else, what they just saw was the instance of Goku being in his strongest form with Hit on the ground. No one saw what happened besides the angels, and this shocks them of the feat that Goku just showed, that they had an entire fight during that quick second and none of the Saiyans were able to see it. Vegeta would be yelling at Goku for hogging all the fights, but he is a bit stunned at how much the gap between him and Goku has increased, but it does motivate him further to train harder and to try to catch up with him. Whis is impressed with Goku's power and notifies Beerus that he will be focusing more on Goku to try to make him achieve the form. Champa is upset that he lost and yells at everyone until Goku teleports behind him, which does give him a bit of a spook. Beerus tells Champa that they will use the Super Dragon Balls to restore his Earth, as Champa would thank him begrudgingly. Goku does laugh, truly enjoying this experience, until the other fighters begin yelling at him for taking all the fun without giving anyone else a turn. Away as we travel into another planet, another timeline. We would expect one of the best villains to be destroying future Trunks' timeline, as the Earth is once again in chaos. For him, with everything being destroyed, everything's actually more than okay. Everything is perfect and amazing, as we pan over to see future Gohan being a great scholar and the rest of the Z fighters alive once again. But how did this happen? When we left off, the tournament between the two universes ended, as in everyone has celebrated the win. We would then be met with Zeno, as this scares the god of destructions, and Goku would greet Zeno with the dismay of Beerus, which would then give Zeno thinking about the possible tournament between all universes, which gets Goku excited. But enough with that timeline. As we go back to the future timeline, where we left off with Trunks and his future, he ended up getting his own timeline Dende to become the Guardian and a set of Dragon Balls, which then he would end up wishing everyone back to life with the exception of Goku. Seeing everyone alive would make Trunks emotional, especially seeing Gohan once again. During their time in the afterlife, all the Z fighters grew incredibly strong, with Gohan and Vegeta learning Super Saiyan 2 and the other Z fighters learning the Kaioken. Easily, any of the fighters currently could beat off the androids, but Trunks wanted to defeat them on his own. So Gohan and Vegeta would train him in the time chamber to catch him up and teach him the Super Saiyan 2 form, which he learned rather quickly. After a few hours of the chamber, they finally get out and Trunks grew much stronger. Not stronger than most of the fighters, but definitely way stronger than the androids. And when he would attack the androids, the fight is more one-sided than it was in the anime, especially with Trunks having Super Saiyan 2. After the defeat of the androids, things calm down a bit. It would appear a bit later to everyone's shock, but would be defeated rather quickly since he doesn't have any androids to absorb and he's not as strong as normal. So now some time would pass. Most of the fighters would continue training, but Gohan actually would continue his dream of becoming a scholar, which most of them accepted after being put through hell for years. Trunks stayed training with his father, continuing to get stronger, Vegeta managing to obtain Super Saiyan 3 as the others continued their training. One day in Capsule Corp, while Vegeta and Trunks were training, they would be met with the Supreme Kai and Kibito, telling them about the threat of Babidi and Majin Buu. All the Z-Fighters would quickly gather up besides Gohan, and they would go find Babidi's hideout. And when they meet the Bura, they do not hesitate at all, as they all charge at him. This version of the Z-Fighters have already dealt with the scenario if they fail to stop the enemy, so they do not waste time to try to eliminate the threat. With the combined effort of the Z-Fighters, the Bura is eliminated without struggle, which made Babidi worried. But then he would try to lure them into this hideout, try to get more energy for Buu. So Supreme Kai warns him about this plan, so the others actually would listen and try to play it smart, so when they enter and fight the minions of Babidi, they would not use any energy to fight the opponents, which they managed to do with ease. So when they arrive at Babidi's, he would try to mind control someone, but it would not work for anyone, as really none of them are bad, especially with Vegeta since he accepted the death of Goku, and he does have a good life and is satisfied with sparring with his own powerful son. So Babidi is eliminated without a second thought, and Majin Buu is not born. He would continue on with their life and getting stronger, with Vegeta and Trunks training mostly, and Gohan slowly catching up. But at this point, both Vegeta and Trunks obtained the Super Saiyan 3 form and worked on perfecting the transformation. Beerus would then wake up and begin on the look for the legendary Super Saiyan God. Immediately, they head to Earth, King Kai giving a heads up to Vegeta about Beerus' arrival, and this scares him a bit. Once he arrives, Vegeta does try to put up a match against Beerus, but it is quickly shown that he is no match for him. Even Trunks tries to fight him, but loses without effort. Beerus does show his anger about the legend not being real and begins to create an attack meant for destroying the planet. But then Trunks gives an idea of collecting the Dragon Balls to bring the Super Saiyan God. They collect the Dragon Balls and to learn about the ritual and the history of the Super Saiyan gods, which worries the Saiyan as who could they even use since there are only 3 of them. Bulma reveals that she will be having another child, which makes Vegeta happy, but they are still in need of 2 other Saiyans. Whis would decide to try to give them a helping hand and search for any other Saiyans, which he finds Paragus and Broly in a distant planet far away. But only Broly would be able to help. He teleports them to the planet, which confuses Paragus, but when he sees Vegeta, he tries to attack him, but he's easily knocked out by Vegeta. Whis would then say there isn't anyone else until Gohan brings up Goku, who passed away and now is in the afterlife. Whis sees this and finds Goku and decides to bring him to Earth, which shocks everyone after not seeing him for a while. Goku is glad to meet everyone again, but gets caught up with what is going on, and they would quickly do the ritual to Vegeta as he gains the form. He would then fight Beerus, and their battle will be on par to the one in canon. Afterwards, Vegeta asks to train under Beerus, which he does accept and offers it to both Gohan and Trunks, but they do decide to deny the offer for now. Vegeta does ask Goku for a sparring match before he has to leave, and without hesitation, Goku would accept. During his time in the afterlife, Goku has perfected the Super Saiyan 3 transformation and is insanely strong even without having God Ki. Their fight is amazing, and Vegeta having to use some of the power from the recent boost he has gotten, which ends up giving him the edge in the battle, but he does not consider it a win since of this boost that he has gotten. Sadly though, Goku would have to return back to the afterlife. I mean, Whis could revive him, but there's no real reason to currently, so he would be brought back. Vegeta is then reminded about the problem with Paragus and Broly. After the fight with Goku and everything he has experienced, he decides to somewhat take the role of Goku and do things his way. He takes Broly in and wants to train him up, while they are both on Beerus' planet. He does also apologize to Paragus for what his fathers did to him, and would like for him to stay on the planet to live a peaceful life. Paragus does still show some resentment to Vegeta, but currently he doesn't have much of an option to fight back since everyone is much stronger than him, and learning about the new god power Vegeta has gotten, he thinks that Broly can't even put up a match against him, so he decides to stay on Earth for now. Vegeta and Broly would head to Beerus' planet and begin their own training, and Vegeta is shocked to learn about the insane potential that Broly has, and really become intrigued about his power. They will both train under Whis and quickly obtain the Super Saiyan Blue form and even evolution. Broly did stay with his legendary form, but even then, he was a strong training partner for Vegeta since Broly's power grew rapidly, so this in turn helps Vegeta to grow quickly and mainly had to focus on him. Beerus was interested in Broly and decided to take him under his wing. Time passes, and I can still see the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament happening, with the team being Vegeta, Broly, Gohan, Trunks, and Piccolo. This whole new team that had a different experience with their own lives could be interesting, as these characters aren't the same ones with either the other timeline of the What If or even the canon timeline. Broly is actually the first one to go up and show off his incredible power, and ends up winning the tournament on his own without using any godlike powers. So in turn, Zamasu actually doesn't act on his Zero Mortals plan and just continue his time with being trained to be the next Supreme Kai. Since there is no evil Goku Black, the future timeline continues with his peace. And to be honest, there wouldn't be any threat for a while since the tournament power wouldn't really happen without Goku's influence. The timeline stays intact and not erased, until Trunks decides to take a trip back to the future to see everyone again. And this time, he also brings along future Gohan. When they arrive, they have a much better meetup, with a normal reason instead of fighting an evil Goku. This version of Gohan is shocked to see how different his future self is. Well, hard to still call him future, but just an alternate version of him now. Future Gohan does thank everyone for helping Trunks saving his future, as they owe them a lot. There's a moment where future Gohan sees Goku and he gets really happy that at least another version of himself does still have his father. Some sparring matches do occur, like future Trunks and Vegeta. Their fight is a fun fight, but future Trunks sees how big the gap is with someone who has a godlike form and thinks about joining his father in his own timeline with training with Beerus. Future Gohan and Goku, their fight is more on catching up and Goku passing on some wisdom to his son. Future Gohan would also spar with his other version, and he sees the form that his alternate him has, which was Super Saiyan 4, which shocked him on how strong he can get and still be a scholar. So this motivates future Gohan to keep up with his own training. The two future half Saiyans did fight against the two young half Saiyans, which to be fair is a weird fight for the two time travelers, since future Trunks is fighting his younger different version of himself and future Gohan fighting what would have been his younger brother, which somewhat hurts him as he would never have his own version of Goten. But when Goten yells out saying that it's cool to have two older brothers, this put a smile on his face. After all the sparring matches, they decide to stay a bit longer and they throw a party for this reunion. Future Trunks then remembers about the cell creature he faced and tells Goku and Vegeta about this threat, that it could come anytime soon, but they shouldn't really be worried about it too much since they defeated him easily without any effort. As we go back over to Jiro's lab, the tube that Cell was in prior has now shattered and broken, and Cell is nowhere to be seen. Most of the Z Fighters have continued with their training until all the universes would meet up and be notified about the time they have in preparation for the Tournament of Power. The Universe 7 vs Universe 9 battles could happen, but it'll be rather one-sided, with any fighters being much stronger than the Fox Trio, so we can kind of just skim over that and get right into the team formation. No doubt the team will have Goku, Vegeta, Broly, Raditz, Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Gotenks being the last. I think as long as they remain fused during their time in the tournament, I think it would be allowed. Plus, Zeno mainly wants strong fighters for amazing fights, so he'll let it slide. The team is made right then and there without any problem. Time would pass and they would all head to the tournament. Once they arrived, they could feel that everyone is eyeing them down, and most universes do think Universe 7 is the most dangerous one since practically everyone on their team is incredibly strong. The tournament would begin and Universe 7 would split up rather quickly. The humans would stick by each other since they are strong, no doubt, but not to the extent as the Saiyans, so they make it up by using the perfected teamwork to increase their overall strength. Gohan would stick by Piccolo and Gotenks mainly to watch over Gotenks since this is their real true battle, which makes them inexperienced, but it does make up for their immense power that they have now, but still need to be looked out for during this tournament. With the other Saiyans though, they all went their own way, which was rather dangerous on their part since when things started, the other universes would try to gang up on any Universe 7 members. The humans do work together and fight all of Universe 2 on their own. They managed to take out most of the members rather easily, with their only challenge being Ribrianne, Kankunsa, and Rosie. They will all have their own separate battles, but will go on to being a team battle. The Universe 2 fighters do show their strength against the human Z fighters. They would get into a beam struggle, with the humans all throwing a combined Kamehameha wave. At first it seemed like their attack was no match to theirs, until they decide to double stack their Kaioken while using it in their mystic form, which then doubles their max level, but also does majorly put stress on their body. This big boost does give enough power so that their Ki Blast takes out the last 3 warriors of Universe 2, and they are erased. The humans manage to win, but no doubt are worn out a bit, so they decide to be more careful of who they're gonna fight. With Gohan and his group, they manage to take out the universe on their own rather easily, with Gohan staying in his Super Saiyan 4 form and Gotenks only using Super Saiyan, so they don't end up using all their energy they have. Piccolo on the other hand has been fighting against the Universe 6 Namekians, which he does fight them alone, and being much stronger, he has an easier time taking them on. Goku and Vegeta will end up meeting with Kaba, Kale, and Khalifa, which interests them in seeing more Saiyans from another universe. Their fight is more on the side of training, trying to teach the other Saiyans the Super Saiyan form. Things will go on the same with Kale and Khalifa showing potential, and then they get more amped and trying to beat Goku, which then leads them to fusing into becoming Kefla. Gotenks, being nearby and being somewhat bored, not having to fight anyone too interesting, he sees another fusion, and this gets him excited as he goes in to attack Kefla. Kefla is taken aback and shows no interest in fighting Gotenks, but this makes Gotenks annoyed, powering up into his Super Saiyan God form, which then makes Kefla interested. The fight would begin and clashes would be felt across the arena. While that goes on, Broly has found himself into a battle with Toppo, as their fight alone is immense, with Toppo being in his God of Destruction state, fighting Broly. But Broly is growing in strength, that makes the gap in power slowly become smaller and smaller. Raditz is facing off Dispo, but is struggling with his crazy speed. But Raditz does remember how Goku took on a fighter that was fast, and decides to combine his Super Saiyan 4 form with Kaioken times 30, and began his true fight against Dispo. Goku and Vegeta would both go after Jiren after hearing that he is the strongest of Universe 11. No question, this Goku and Vegeta are stronger than their canon counterparts, but Jiren still is very strong. Noticing that these two fighters are a bigger threat, he would use more of his power at the start, which does make the fight more interesting and harder. Goku in his mystic form and Vegeta in his evolution state are still struggling to fight against Jiren. The longer the time went on, the more fighters got eliminated and universe being erased. The humans and Piccolo got eliminated, with the Saiyans still being on. Gotenks' fight with Kefla keeps going as they seem to be on equal ground. Gotenks know that his time is going down more and more, but they do know that they must take on this fusion in order to help everyone else. They power up further into their Super Saiyan Blue form and begin attacking with his Ghost Kamikaze attacks, which begins destroying big parts of the arena and even damaging Kefla greatly, but she still stands there. Gotenks know they only have less than a minute, so he decides to do a Sudoku and charges at Kefla full force, grabbing onto her and then rocketing down full speed off the arena, which knocks both her and himself off the arena. And as soon as they teleport to the stand, both fusions are split up, and Khalifa's a bit annoyed that they have lost the kids. Gohan had began aiding Raditz in fighting Dispo, which then makes Dispo somewhat pushed back, being outnumbered and with no help since Toppo is still in a brawl with Broly, and their fight is getting out of hand. And Jiren is now fighting 3 opponents with Hit joining in with Goku and Vegeta. With Toppo and Broly, their fight begins to destroy the arena, and only leaving small remnants left for the other fighters to fight on. But the force is being felt by everyone watching the tournament, and it makes Zeno really excited to see this fight. Toppo is stunned to see a fighter like this that doesn't stop getting stronger and stronger and getting close to the strength of a god of destruction. Toppo does power up more and more, but no matter how much he does, Broly just continues growing. Whatever he throws at Broly, it doesn't stop him one bit. Toppo does see that the more power Broly uses, he begins to lose more control of himself little by little. Toppo would try to exploit that weakness by pushing Broly more and more. Broly did train to try to control his anger, but to this extent he hasn't gone to. Broly tries to keep calm, but with the stress of if they lose they get erased, so he is fighting for everyone. Broly begins to lose it more and more and starts getting more destructive, and his attacks beginning to go everywhere as the other fighters remaining have to now worry about dodging his attacks and not being taken out by his attack as well. Clash and this impacts they created emits a force felt by everyone, and even pushes off Dispo, Gohan, and Raditz out of the arena. There's only 5 people remaining. It is not looking good for Goku, Vegeta, and Hit, as they're having major trouble fighting against Jiren, especially when he's at his full strength. Goku then tells the other 2 to hold him off for a few minutes as he needs some time to try a technique he's been saving in case he needs to use it. Vegeta and Hit would then try to hold off Jiren while Goku begins to cook. Without Goku, they begin to get beat on pretty easily, but they still try their hardest to hold him back. But the more energy he puts out, the harder it is for them to tank his attack. Jiren prepares an attack to knock out both Vegeta and Hit off until Toppo smashed into him and they are both sent flying by Broly. As he throws more attacks at them, which they both take on head on. They both shoot a ki blast at Broly, which he tries to hold back, but is slowly being taken over by the blast until the entirety of the attack dissipates into nothing, which confuses everyone as a big white beam of light is shown all around, which blinds everyone. But when the light disappears, everyone sees all the gods standing and bowing their heads towards Goku, as he is transformed into his mastered Ultra Instinct state and completely erased the energy blast. He then instantly goes into attack the 2 foes, which he does so easily, dodging all their attacks with ease. Toppo is stunned at this immense power, but he is then interrupted by Broly as he attacks Toppo once again. Vegeta and Hit are left stunned about the power they are facing as they would go and each try to aid in the fights, but before even getting close to either of the 2 fights, they are both pushed back and sent flying out of the arena, knocking them out. The 2 fight between the last 2 members of each universe is immense, and the pressure waves going all out into the vast deep space. The gods and angels are very intrigued with the power of the 4 mortals, but the more the fight went on, the more obvious it seemed that the Saiyans were in the advantage, with being much stronger than the other 2. Not much longer, Toppo would end up being eliminated by Broly, and soon it would be Jiren against the last 2. Broly would begin to calm down and recollect himself, but Goku would ask him to stand down as he wants to face Jiren on his own. The fight would continue, but just like in the anime, Jiren stands no chance against Goku in his MUI state. Everyone is shocked by the mortal getting such a godly state, and this makes Zeno excited. So Goku wouldn't wait another second and finally eliminate Jiren and win the tournament, and uses the wish to restore the other universes. Everyone celebrates the victory of Universe 7 and how things end up so well. Some time would pass as the Saiyans continued their training on Earth, since they had been gone for so long, until one day Vegeta, Goku, and Broly were all sparring, and they were interrupted by some visitors that they weren't really expecting. Supreme Kai, Jocko, and some more members of the Galactic Patrol, as they knock out all 3 of the Saiyans without any explanation. We left off last. The 3 Saiyans were training and got taken on easily by a Galactic Patrol member, and once they woke up, they realized they were kidnapped by the Galactic Patrol. After being woken up by Jocko, they meet the person who took them out being Miras and explain why they needed to be kidnapped. Originally, their plan was to look for Buu, as he absorbed the Great Lord of Lords, and 10 million years ago, against the planet Moro, the Great Lord of Lords used his magic in order to trap Moro to put him away. Only until recently, his magic returned and managed to escape his imprisonment. They retrieved the Saiyans as they are their only hope to even beat Moro, since Goku back then completely took out Buu without splitting Fat Buu and Evil Buu. They no longer have the magic of the Great Lord of Lords. So the next best option is the one who eradicated Buu easily. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly were okay with wanting to help catch this prisoner, and temporarily became Galactic Patrol members. Vegeta thought he had some weird thoughts on mirrors for being weirdly too strong to be a normal patrol member. Goku was sent to Moro, as Moro would be able to do the same, but all three of them would all teleport to Namek before Moro gets a chance to land. They would warn the Namekians, as once Moro lands, Vegeta would be the first to face him for a different reason than in canon, where in the manga, Vegeta's character development in this arc was amazing, with him wanting to make up for his evil past with the Namekians. But here it's because he felt left out from the tournament of power and he just wanted to fight a strong opponent. But either way, Vegeta, despite being stronger than canon, was still easily defeated by Moro. Vegeta would begin going all out against Moro, but Moro would begin to attack using the planet's life force. He then uses the life force to absorb it to gain a big power boost, and Vegeta would try to power up, but realize he can no longer transform into a Super Saiyan. And the other two can't transform either. They all try to fight Moro, but cannot do much with their base, and since now all of them are stronger than canon, plus with the addition of Broly, Moro absorbs a ton more power than normal. Goku would try to use instant transmission, but he wouldn't be able to since he doesn't have enough ki, and Moro would easily incapacitate all three of them and go out on the hunt for the Dragon Balls. Luckily, they would all be healed up by the Namekians, as they were knocked out for 3 whole days. Moro has collected 3 of the Dragon Balls, and in doing so, the Namekians try defeating him by having all their top fighters fuse into one, but without effort, Moro took him out easily. Moro would begin heading towards the fighters, and they would prepare to fight him, but then Mirrors appears, aiding in trapping Moro, and then 3 Saiyans use this opportunity to try and take him out, but overall they still don't stand a chance against him, as he continues to absorb more life force until the sky turns dark, and it is revealed that Cranberry wished for Moro's magic to be fully returned. Moro would leave and begin to absorb Namek. 3 Saiyans cannot go out in space to stop Moro until Mirrors asks if they are stronger than Moro, and they all believe if he did not have magic powers, that they are all stronger than him. Mirrors would head out in a spacesuit and give one to Goku and distracts Moro so that Goku can use his intertransmission to bring him back to Namek. Before the fight could even start, Moro reveals his last wish, telling them that he released all the prisoners of the Galactic Patrol members, God, and they all arrived on Namek. 3 Saiyans would be able to fight off all the prisoners pretty easily without any trouble. But once again, all the Saiyans could no longer transform, and it seems bad once again as Mirrors and Jocko tells them to retreat, and they do so. A difference in this timeline, Vegeta would not go to Yardred, as Goku had never been to Yardred in this scenario. But Goku training with Mirrors would still happen, and even the other 2 Saiyans would join in. Moro's forces would head to Earth as normal, with Piccolo quickly dealing with the Macarini gang, and will let them go until then they warns him about Moro and all his doings. It was too late as they notify Moro about the planet's energy. With the Saiyans and Mirrors, their training begins and uses a time chamber similar to the one on Earth, the only difference being 3 days equals 1 day in the real world. On Earth, they would gather up the Z Fighters and manages to gather up everyone as all the humans, Piccolo, Raditz, Nappa, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks. So the strongest prisoners arrive, but quickly are outmatched with being outnumbered, and then the strongest prisoner arrived, Android 7-3, who is able to copy people's abilities using he uses his copy of Moro and quickly is able to get stronger than everyone else, and the Z Fighter begins losing until Moro calls his prisoners to back off, so that Goku, Vegeta, and Broly could return so that he could have more energy to absorb. The fighters have 2 months to prepare, and Mirrors is notified and begins the training of the 3 Saiyans as they only have 6 months to train up. Time would pass on as Goku would begin on trying to have a sparring match with Mirrors, until Whis arrives and stops him, explaining about the Angels' rules, that if Angels were to get into an actual fight, it would break the rule and they would be erased and die. The Saiyans are all shocked to find out that Mirrors is an angel in training. Mirrors says that it's up to them to stop Moro, they should all be strong enough to handle him, as they leave them all on the planet. On Earth, every Z Fighter is prepared to face off against the galactic prisoners, and for some reason Goten and Trunks weren't there without an explanation, but I'm adding them because everyone else is a lot stronger than canon, and they have no reason not to be there, but I don't know why they didn't add them, but who cares. They all fight off their opponents with ease, besides Piccolo and Gohan. They do end up fighting 7-3, and he does copy their abilities, but put together, they manage to fight him off until he decides to use Moro's ability, and it gets bad since in this universe the androids were erased and destroyed and now wish back, and they don't have someone to fight off this android, but 7-3 still has a bit of trouble since the extra fighters of Raditz, Nappa, Goten, and Trunks, they do have an extra hand against the android. Moro and Sagambo would touch on Earth, and Moro would give a power boost to Sagambo, and this would look a lot worse for the Z Fighters, as they are now having trouble with both the android and Sagambo, as they are both extremely strong right now. Saiyans can sense what is going on Earth, But still, Goku cannot teleport yet until Krillin begins to charge up his ki to allow Goku to be able to teleport to Earth, and with the two Saiyans. Once they arrive on Earth, they manage to save every Z fighter and take out every prisoner, and once they arrive on the main battlefield, Goku easily beats Sagambo, but once he goes down, he keeps getting back up. It is revealed that Moro keeps giving him energy, until his body cannot handle it, and Sagambo dies for going over his limits. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly prepare to face off against Moro, as all three of them to begin to calm down, and all focus their energy. It is revealed that all three of them have achieved Ultra Instinct Sign. They all attack Moro together, and manage to overpower him with ease, as they do have coordinated attacks that Moro couldn't manage to defend against, and is getting beaten badly. It goes on to the point where he decides to consume Android 7-3 and grows into a stronger, more perfected state, and he is able to turn the table against the three Saiyans. They are still managing, but Moro is a lot stronger than normal. Then Vegeta and Broly would lose control with Sign, as they aren't used to this transformation yet, and it leaves Goku versus Moro. Moro grows cocky and believes he will win, but then Goku goes off from his Sign state and focuses up, as the Silver Hero returns once again, as he is in his mastered Ultra Instinct state. And the fight against Moro is once again one-sided, with Moro not being able to hit Goku, and each strike Goku hits causes major damage to Moro. Goku would power down and try to talk sense into Moro, telling him to go back to prison and promise to never escape. But it doesn't work, as Moro would try to attack Goku once more, but Goku transforms into his MUI state and takes a punch without any effect. Goku is upset that Moro won't ever change, and now has to make sure that he is done for good. He transforms back into MUI and begins beating down on Moro with ease, and Moro cannot do anything against him. And in the end, Moro is erased and beaten. This final battle ended much quicker than canon, since Mirrors would never jump in to save Goku and die trying to fight off against Moro, which also avoids Moro fusing with the Earth and that whole shenanigan. So the Z Fighters save the day once again, and Mirrors keeps his angel status, and all four of them would get rewarded by the Galactic Patrol. Vegeta tells Goku that he will achieve Master Ultra Instinct, and once he does, they will have a true match. Goku giggles and asks if Broly would do the same, but Broly declines, saying that Master Beerus has something else in store for him. That would be his version of Ultra Instinct that would match his legendary Super Saiyan form, which keeps both Goku and Vegeta interested, and once again, the universe is at peace. The story starts off as normal, with Granolah carrying a mission and collecting the leftover destroyed Android 7-3. As we see a flashback of Saiyans destroying Granolah's home planet. We would go back to the trio Saiyans as they are training on Beerus' planet. Goku continues trying to develop his own style of Ultra Instinct. Meanwhile, with Vegeta, he has been having trouble trying to tap back into the power, but is still struggling to do so. As he looks over to see Broly training under Beerus, as he is too obtaining a new form. And Vegeta kind of feels left out. He then gets another god in mind and would quickly ask Whis to teleport him somewhere else. With Granolah, he returns the body of Android 7-3 to the Heaters. Granolah's whole conversation with the leader Elec doesn't ever happen, with the fact that in this timeline Frieza is never resurrected. Elec still plans on trying to take out Granolah, but has to find out a different way to do so. So his plan, to meet with Zuno, the man with the most knowledge in Universe 7. Goku and Broly would end up continuing their training with their respective mentors, but also wonders where Vegeta went, with Whis saying that he was told not to say. Also with Broly, he is having an easier time with learning the works of using destruction, since he was used to having a power beyond control that could only lead to destruction, and quickly gets used to the power more and more. With the Heaters, they learn about the events of the Moro arc and about the Dragon Balls and how Namekians were the ones who created them. With Granolah, he has to talk with the Namekian that he lives with, Monaito, and their conversation would end up being a normal one, rather than the one they had back in canon, where Granolah talked about Frieza being alive and how he wants revenge for his people and wants to be strong enough to take him down. As it also revealed that Monaito has created his own set of Dragon Balls, with it being 2 rather than the normal 7 that we are used to, but he kind of lost one of the 2 for around 40 years at this point. Later that day, Granolah is watching his space TV, and he sees the other Dragon Ball and would decide to steal it, but rather than using it to wish it to be the strongest in the universe, he would keep it hidden, as for maybe one day he would need to grant a wish in the future, but also currently he has no true motive of wanting to be the strongest right now. Which also means Granolah wouldn't threaten the Heaters about wanting Frieza's location, but even without that happening, I still see Elec want to get rid of Granolah before he becomes too strong, and then makes a plan to bring the Saiyans to deal with him like in canon. Maki and Oi will go to Zuno and ask him some questions, while Gaz and Elec would stay on Serial. Later on, Bulma would still notify Whis about Maki and Oil, saying that they needed the trio of the Saiyans to fight off a villain, which Goku and Broly don't refuse, but Whis notifies that Vegeta is currently elsewhere dealing with some business, but is sure that the other 2 can handle it. Maki would contact Granolah and let him know that they have the 2 Saiyans heading over to the planet Serial, and sprinkles a lie about them being Frieza soldiers, and this now gives them motivation of wanting his revenge and using the Dragon Balls to make his wish on being the strongest in the universe. Now with this happening, now the Heaters are a bit behind, since Elec is not too sure about there being Dragon Balls on planet Serial, which plays a major part later on. 18 days later, once they arrive on planet Cereal and not soon after, their fight would begin. Granolah would try to shoot from afar at Broly and Goku. Broly powers up, meanwhile Goku manages to dodge the attacks and not suffer from a blow. Goku here is much more used to the technique of Ultra Instinct, so he is more learning of his own style of Ultra Instinct. Goku would then begin to fight against Granolah on a one-on-one, and Goku would transform into his Mystic state. Granolah cannot manage to get a blow on him as he keeps missing his vital points. In the manga it states that the stronger the form Goku uses, the better the Ultra Instinct he has control over. And since Goku has Mystic, which would practically combine the power of all his form into one, he has great use of Ultra Instinct right now. They do a little talk, and Goku learns that Granolah wants to kill Goku to pay off the crime of the Saiyans on what they did to his race. Without Vegeta, Goku wouldn't know why Granolah hates them so much and not really know about the history of the Cerealians and the Saiyans, so that fight would continue on. Currently, it is on a stalemate with Goku being able to dodge Granolah's attack, but it isn't able to have a chance to fight back. He knows this time is wasting up, so Goku goes into his Master Ultra Instinct to fight off Granolah, and it shows how one-sided it is. Granolah doesn't back down and keeps fighting him longer until he sees that Goku cannot hold the form forever, and he waits till he powers down. Granolah reveals that he was fighting a clone and quickly manages to get a first blow on Goku when he is caught off guard. But before he could finish him off, Broly steps in. Their fight begins with Broly in his perfected legendary Super Saiyan form, and Granolah manages to get blow after blow on Broly, but he doesn't stay down, and he keeps getting up after every attack, which puts Granolah off as he spits out how he should be the strongest after his wish. Broly smirks, saying that it shouldn't be the case for long, since his power makes him grow stronger without limit. He powers down and a big smile grows on Broly, saying to Granolah that he is no longer the strongest in the universe when Broly powers up into his Ultra Ego form, which in my thought would make Broly the strongest being without a doubt. And with not only growing stronger the more he fights, but now that this form managed to make all the damage the person takes and turns into more power, which makes Broly just insanely broken and possibly limitless strength. The fight goes on with Broly having the edge for the longest as he begins to let loose once again like he used to. Granolah does major damage to Broly, but it just makes him stronger and stronger. But Broly isn't the only one growing stronger, as Granolah is as well. Their fight goes on and on, with surprisingly the planet is holding out for this battle. The tide soon changes once Granolah's left eye turns red as he begins to dominate in the battle with Broly and is able to cause major damage to Broly, and at this point the damage Broly has taken is starting to take a toll on his body since he grew a bit too cocky with his power. Broly loses the form of Granolah, prepares to end him, but Goku saves Broly and then they try to work together to face off Granolah. Goku in his Mystic form and Broly in his perfected legendary Super Saiyan form, they fight him off and they manage together after telling Broly how to counter his precise attacks against them. The fight goes on for a little bit until Minato arrives to tell the truth of Granolah's past and how Bardock spared him and his mother, and how his mother actually died by the Heaters. The tide turns again with now the three fighters being on the same side and wanting to take down the Heaters. The Heaters are a bit worried with all three of them all heading their way, as when they arrived they met with all four of them. Granolah wants to kill Elec for what he did to his mother, but before he gets the chance, Elec removes the head decoration on Gas's head and it makes him more powerful. Now the three of them begin to fight against Gas. They're having trouble since they're all weakened since they fought each other, and not any of them brought senzu beans, because in the manga it was Vegeta who had the senzu beans, and I would see that Goku and Broly would probably forget about them. With even all three of them having trouble to fight off one opponent, this doesn't give them time for Minato to heal them, and even if he couldn't heal them all the way. Goku would try to strike Gas, and this would make Gas freeze as he remembered how he was humiliated by Bardock many years ago, as Goku reminds him of Bardock, but once he does so, Gas manages to regain control, and with Gas being able to control his Berserk form, he is stronger than ever. Goku then gets an idea and asks Broly for his energy as he alone goes to Gas. He taunts him and sees if he could follow him as they both teleport planet to planet until they arrive at Beerus' planet, and Goku quickly teleports in reverse to planet Cereal. Once Goku arrives back, he sees Minato trying to heal up Granolah and Broly, and we tell them that they have 20 minutes until Gas arrives. The story goes on with Minato giving Goku Bardock's scouter to see how he defeated Gas, and once he heard Bardock's voice, he regained his memories from before he was sent to Earth. This gives Goku revelation and his Saiyan pride as he figures out what he's been missing. Kinda sucks for Vegeta isn't here, because as he too gets good character development during this, but you know, well. Minato would heal both Goku and Broly up, still not to the full extent, but Gas would arrive and their fight would continue. Working together and being healed up a bit, their fight continues, but this still isn't fully enough to take on Gas. Broly tries to go Ultra Ego as he gains the edge, but it doesn't last long as his body is almost completely overused. But then Goku jumps in with being in his Sign form since he doesn't have enough to go into his Mastered Ultra Instinct state, but he still looks confident, and this worries Gas a bit, and he cannot stop thinking about Bardock. The fight goes on with each being more or less on equal ground, but Goku's body's being worn out until Granolah strikes Gas at a vital point, and this gives Goku a chance to attack Gas, and together they are having a fair chance at fighting him. Gas sees Monito healing Broly and shoots a beam at Monito, which distracts Granolah, and this gives Gas the chance to knock both Goku and Granolah. With all hope seem lost, Gas prepares to kill Goku until he is stopped by an immense force on his hand, and it is shown as to be Vegeta, but his hair is all white and his eyes red. This is Beast Vegeta. When Vegeta left, he went to the Supreme Kai and asked him to learn the Mystic Transformation in order to try to catch up with the other two Saiyans. But once he achieved the form, he did not feel any stronger, and this angered him as it did hurt his pride with all the rage built inside of feeling sidelined for the last two major events. This gave him the extra boost as he achieved the Beast Transformation, and once he did, he felt the immense power. He also asked for a quick rundown on instant transmission and started heading towards Planet Cereal once he talked to Whis. Now with this newfound power, Vegeta actually manages to beat Gas without much problem and ends the heaters. He does boast about this power and how he saved both Goku and Broly from death. Whis arrives wanting to take the Saiyans back and also healing Monito. They ask Granolah if they wanted to join, but he declines as they head off, with Goku being impressed with Vegeta's newfound power. The story would play out similarly, with Magenta recruiting Dr. Hito to recreate Cell and the androids, and even with it being hard to convince Dr. Hito since Cell was never public, but Dr. Hito did agree because of the cash involved. Time would pass to Pan, daughter of Gohan, and Erasa would be training under Gohan, as she is also joined by Goten and Trunks. Occasionally, Piccolo and Raditz would have some sparring matches with Gohan, as both Gohan and Raditz are still working on trying to obtain the Limit Breaker form that Goku has. The entirety of this movie would have to play out differently since primarily of Gohan's character. This Gohan has been keeping up with his training, which far surpassed anything near to his canon part, and he isn't crazy about his work. One day while Gohan is training with the three hybrid Saiyans, they are attacked by both Gamma 1 and 2. Luckily everyone is safe from the attack, but Gohan is upset that his daughter was in danger as he goes in to attack the two androids, as he tells Goten and Trunks to protect Pan. In his Super Saiyan 4 state, he fights against the two androids. Now if we take into the account of everyone being stronger in this timeline, it's safe to say that the two Gamma androids and Cell Max will be stronger as well. Gohan is putting up a good fight against the two Gammas, but is being pushed back with it being a 1-on-2. Goten and Trunks seeing Gohan begin to struggle a bit. They both head off to face Gamma 2 together. Now with these two being stronger than canon, they still aren't enough against a stronger Gamma 2, and will quickly rely on fusion. The Gammas continue with their plan and begin fighting them, but slowly draw them towards the new Red Ribbon Army base to take him out there. The fight continues on and it ends up successful with drawing them to the base, and by the time they arrive, Gotenks has lost the fusion, and Gamma 2 quickly is able to knock them out and goes to aid Gamma 1 to fight Gohan. He keeps getting pushed back and he can't do anything as he is beginning to get tired from fighting. Dr. Hito and Magenta are cheering as it seems like they are on the winning side. It looks bad for Gohan until both the Gammas are slammed to the floor as Gohan looks over to see Piccolo and Raditz. They arrive ready to aid them. Raditz explains how Pan notified them of a threat and they came to help, as Piccolo said that the three humans are coming to aid as well. Piccolo would give Gohan a senzu bean to heal up, and now it's 3 against 1 with Piccolo and Raditz fighting Gamma 2. With having the advantage of the numbers, the Z fighters begin to gain the edge, and whereas Magenta and Dr. Hito, as it seems like the Gammas won't be enough as Magenta slowly decides to run off to go activate Cell Mag. Back to the fight, the Z fighters begin to show how worn out they are, with Raditz and Gohan consistently being at full power in their Super Saiyan 4 state. Piccolo here is stronger than his canon counterpart, but without having Shenron unlocking his full potential, he is actually weaker without the transformations that he gained in the movie, like in canon. The Gammas soon, once again, gain the edge and start beating down on the Z fighters until a loud crash and a roar is heard, and both parties have stopped fighting. They all look over to see a huge explosion goes off to see a gigantic Cell Max. The Gammas are confused on why he was released, and Dr. Hito was upset that Magenta did release him knowing why he wanted Cell Max to be made. Both the fighters and the Gammas agreed to have a truce in order to take out this deadly threat, and 2 more backup arrived as Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin arrived to the battlefield. Goten and Trunks too also wakes up to join the others to fight off Cell Max. Everyone will begin to fight off Cell Max, but he shows that he is not someone to underestimate, as all the damage he takes does nothing to him. The humans will all try to do a combination attack on him, but he easily tanks all the attacks and smacks them around easily as it takes them out of the fight. Goten and Trunks try to fight Cell off, but they never fully recovered and are easily taken out as well. Gohan is upset for not being strong enough and thinks if he had the Limit Breaker form that his father had, it could be enough to take out Cell Max. The Gammas then tell everyone that Cell's weak spot is the top of his head, so everyone will begin to attack the top of his head, which would work, but every time they hit him on the head, he grows stronger. Things look bad as everyone keeps trying to attack Cell, but is knocked away easily. Piccolo hands Gohan the other senzu bean he had and says that he is their only hope, as he knows Gohan has the best potential out of everyone on this planet, and that he needs to charge an attack powerful enough to end Cell. Gohan stands back as he charges an attack to end Cell. Meanwhile, Piccolo, Raditz, Goten, Trunks, and the humans, and the Gammas will fight off Cell. Gamma 2 will still end up sacrificing himself to try to end Cell, but it would end up the same as he couldn't end him by himself. The fighters begin to take serious damage as none of them are strong enough to take out Cell, And Gohan is in the back seeing all this, and he begins to grow angry as his rage fills his body. Thinking to himself that if only he was stronger, he blames himself for everyone being in this situation. All the blame and anger builds up until a loud yell reaches everyone in blinding lights. They look over to see Gohan in his Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker form. Max tries to strike him, but it doesn't phase Gohan as he would strike back, and this sends Max flying. Gohan would continue attacking him all over and even getting some hits on his head. Then Gohan would charge up a special beam cannon as he shoots it at Max, and it ends him before he could cause any more damage. Everyone is glad the threat is over and proud of Gohan and achieving this new form. Raditz would ask for help to achieve this level. Gamma 1 and Dr. Hito feel bad for what they did and ask for forgiveness and want to turn around to actually do some good. Yamcha would suggest they could go to Capsule Corp as they could definitely help out for any future threat. Now for the subplot of the story back to Beerus' planet, the three Saiyans would still get onto a hand-to-hand free-for-all battle, and this time around Goku would win over Vegeta and Broly. This movie would really happen completely different from the original one and would really be a lot shorter, but for now, this is where we will end off this first series of my What If Goku Never Stopped Training. Tell me how y'all think about the final part and how I did with the superhero arc. What do you think about the entire story as a whole? I enjoyed how different it went compared to the original show, and how everyone really was still relevant to the story, and how everyone had unique sources of power, with Goku kind of having every form. What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Next What If will be a short What If Gohan and Goku turn Super Saiyan on Namek, and after that we'll be going into the next series that y'all decided on. What if Kami taught Goku how to control his grade 8 form? If you're interested and enjoy, please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post the next series. Thank y'all so much for watching and all the support of this series. I will see y'all in the next series. See ya.